Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, depending on when you're watching this. Today, we are going to be talking about dividing fractions. Okay, and this is always a fan favorite because pretty much all kids remember what they learned in elementary school about keep, change, flip. So, our objective is going to be to learn how to divide fractions, including mixed numbers, which make it much more challenging to solve problems. And our essential question stays the same. Okay, it's the how. How do you divide fractions? And you can see Miss Pitcock thinking, I think you do KCF. Keep, change, flip. So this is the rule. When you see keep, change, flip, or KCF, not KFC, what you do is you keep the first fraction the same. So if you notice, my problem started with 1/5, so I kept 1/5. So that's keep. Okay, I'll put a K. Then you want to change this division sign into a multiplication sign. So that's what you changed. And then you want to flip. You take your second fraction and you're going to flip it upside down. That is also called finding the reciprocal. Your homework's going to ask you about reciprocal. It's when you flip a fraction. Then the rule remains exactly the same from last week. When you multiply fractions, you go straight across. So 1 times 3 is 3, 5 times 1 is 5. That is my final answer. So you're going to keep, change, and flip. Okay, that is the rule for dividing fractions. So we're going to watch a little song about it, and I'm going to do my best to make it so that you can actually hear the song. So give me just a second. Here we go. We got to watch it on YouTube. Sorry for the delay.
We just had the most amazing family vacation.
And the ad. Goodness gracious. Is it going to let me skip? Here it goes.
To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide 1/2 by 1/6. Keep, change, flip. 1 times 6 is 6 and 2 times 1 is 2. It's an improper fraction, so we're not through. Divide 6 by 2 and the quotient is 3. Keep, change, flip. It's all that you need. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide 2/5 by 1/5. Keep, change, flip. 2 times 5 is 10, 5 times 1 is 5. It's an improper fraction, so you need to divide. 10 divided by 5 equals 2. When we divide by fractions, this is what we do. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip.
Keep, change, flip.
Keep, change, flip may seem to work magically, but it can be explained mathematically. With the number 10, we can divide by 2, and that will leave 5 in each group. Or we can find that 5 through a different path by multiplying 10 by 2 flipped to 1/2. It's the trick that never fails called keep, change, flip. It's real math magic, so use this tip.
We understand with these problems we love, because we know division means has how many roots of.
Let's explore that thought. How many groups of fourths does 1/2 got? 2/4 fit into 1/2 perfectly, and we found the quotient mentally. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip. To divide by a fraction, here's a tip. Keep, change, flip.
All right. So now that you have keep, change, flip stuck in your brain, let's keep going. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of questions where I do one and then you're going to try one, and then I do one and then you're going to try one, because just like before, there's 3 different categories of problems. The first is the easiest, well, one of the easiest. It's when you have 2 simple fractions. So let's not forget that our rule is to keep, change, flip. So I like to write the letters above the problem, KCF, keep, change, flip. It helps me remember what to do. So let me pick a color that's easier to see. I'm going to keep the 5/8. I'm going to change the divide into multiply, and I'm going to flip 1/2 into 2/1. Remember, when you flip a fraction, that's called the reciprocal. Now the rule for multiplying fractions is go straight across. 5 times 2 is 10. 8 times 1 is 8. Now I can't leave my fraction like this because this is improper, so I'm going to go ahead and simplify it first. Or you can change it first, it doesn't matter. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 8 divided by 2 is 4. Okay, well, 4 goes into 5 one time. When I take the 4 out of the 5, I'm left with 1 left over, and your denominator stays the same. Okay, if you weren't sure what I just did, remember, this turns into long division. 5 divided by 4. 4 goes into 5 one time. That's my whole. 4 times 1 is 4. My remainder is 1. That's my leftover fraction, and the denominator's matched. Okay? So I just did one. Now it's your turn to try one. You're going to try this one. So go ahead and pause if you need to. Go ahead and pause, work it out, and then come back and check. All right, you ready to see the answer? Let me erase these so it's nice and neat over here. So remember our rule, when you're dividing fractions, the rule is keep, change, flip. Okay, so keep, change, flip. I'm going to rewrite the problem. 6/7 is kept. Change this to multiply. Flip the second fraction. Well, guys, remember what we learned last week. When you have matching numbers diagonally, you can cross those out. Okay, I can simplify those first, matching numbers diagonally. So that gives me a 6 on the top and a 3 on the bottom. Well, 6 divided by 3 is just a plain old 2. I get 2/1, which is the same as 2 wholes. 2 wholes. Okay? Now the next category is a whole number with a fraction. And we learned last week, whenever you have a whole number, just put it over top of 1. Okay? Just put it over top of 1. This is division, so the rule is keep, change, flip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the 2/5. I'm going to change the problem to multiplication, and I'm going to flip 2/1 into 1/2. Now the rule is go straight across. And look, the 2 and the 2 are diagonal. They're the same. I can cross them out first, okay? So my answer should be 1/5, but let's go straight across and make sure. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Divide by 2 at the end if I didn't simplify first, and you're going to get 1/5. But remember, a shortcut is when you have matching numbers diagonally, you can mark them out and keep whatever's left. So that's how you would have gotten your 1/5. All right, you guys are going to try the one at the bottom. I'll circle it. You guys can pause, work it out, and then come back and check. That's the one you're working out. I'm going to erase these first. Okay, so you ready to try it? You done working on it? So I have a whole number. Whenever you have a whole number, you have to put it over 1. Notice this is a division problem, so the rule is keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the first, which was 6/1. I'm going to change this to multiplication, and I'm going to flip this to its reciprocal, which is 3/2. Next step is you go straight across. 6 times 3 is 18. 1 times 2 is 2. Well, 2 goes into both of those. And 18 divided by 2 is 9. 2 divided by 2 is 1. It gave me 9 wholes. 9 wholes. Okay, now those were simpler problems because they dealt with simple fractions. Now we're going to get into the more complicated problems that deal with mixed numbers. Okay, remember you can't multiply or divide with a mixed number. First, you're going to have to make it mad. Okay, so we can't work out any problem with mixed numbers. We have to make them mad. So that means from the bottom up, you're going to multiply. 2 times 2 is 4. Add, I'm going to get 5. Keep the denominator. Bottom up, I'm going to multiply. 10 times 4 is 40, plus 1 is 41. Keep the denominator. Okay? Now, this is the original problem. I haven't done anything to divide my fractions. All I've done is change it so I have a top and a bottom. Now I can do the problem. I have to keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep 5 over 2. I'm going to change this to multiplication, and I'm going to flip this to 10 over 41. Now my rule for multiplying fractions is just go straight across. So 10 times 5 is 50. 2 times 41 is going to be 82. These are both even, so I know it can be simplified. 2 will go into both. I'll put my answer up here. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. And 82 divided by 2 brings me back down to 41. Now there is nothing else that's going to go into those two numbers, so I know I'm right. So you're going to try the next one, okay? Remember, you can't multiply straight across and you can't keep, change, flip until you have every number with a top and a bottom value. Okay, so you're going to have to make this fraction mad first. Change it to an improper. So go ahead and pause, try it, and then come back. All right, so this problem, when I want to make it mad, I'm going to multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So I have 8 over 3. This doesn't have a top and a bottom either. It's a whole number, so I need to put it over 1. So I've rewritten the original problem so everything has a top and a bottom. Now I can keep, change, flip. So I'm going to get, I'm going to do it over here because I have more room over here. So I'm going to draw an arrow. I'm going to keep 8/3. I change divide to multiply, and I'm going to flip 6 over 1 to 1/6, which is its reciprocal. Now that there's a multiplication sign, I can go straight across. 8 times 1 is 8. 3 times 6 is 18. They're both even. So I am going to get 4 over 9 as my answer. Now, for some reason, it's like dividing fractions is easier than multiplying, and I think it's because your answers tend to be smaller, so you don't have to worry about changing it to a mixed number at the end, typically. Okay, so now that we've done some practice together, it's going to be time for you to practice. It's going to be time for you to practice. Let me erase all of these so we can go to the next one. In class, the students use Padlet. Since you're watching just kind of like the rerun, the recorded version, you don't have to use Padlet, just use pencil and paper. But do make sure you get your practice in. Okay, so we're just going to do one at a time. So go ahead and pause and try this one. And when you have it done, you're going to unpause. Okay, so we're going to make sure everything has a top and a bottom. The rule is keep, change, flip. So when I keep, change, flip, I'm going to keep a 9 over 1. Change this to multiply. Change this to 5 over 3. Now I can multiply straight across, or you can cross simplify first. Most people like to go straight across. So you would get 45 on the top over 3. Well, 3 goes into both of these. And you're going to get 15 over 1. 15 over 1. Let's try the next one. So go ahead and pause, and you're going to try the next one. Good morning, Cornish. Miss Cornish just got here. Okay, so the next one, if you're done, remember our rule is keep, change, flip. So you're going to keep 3 tens, you're going to change division to multiplication, and you're going to flip it to 5/3. Now a little alarm should be going off in your head. When you have the same number diagonal each other, cross them out, you're going to be left with 5/10. Well, I know 5 out of 10 is half. The answer to this one should be a half. Because you divide 5 by 5, you get 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So you're going to get a half. Go ahead and try the next one. You can pause and then come back and see it worked out. Okay, the next one, remember, we do keep, change, flip. We're going to keep it as 7/12. We're going to change it to multiply, and we're going to flip this to 8/1. Once you have that multiplication sign, you can go straight across. 8 times 7 is 56. 12 times 1 is 12. Oh, this division is going to be a little bit more tricky. Let's start with 2's, because I know 2 goes into both because they're even. The bottom's going to be 6. The top, without a calculator, I don't know, but I can figure it out. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Got 1 left over. Bring down the 6. 2 goes into 16 8 times exactly. Okay, so it was a 28. My pen's going slow. Now that's not simplified yet either because they're both still even, so we can divide them both by 2. 28 divided by 2 is going to be 14 over 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, now I can't leave it like this. This is called an improper fraction. I have to turn it into a mixed number. So think, how many times does 3 go into 14? Well, 3, 6, 9, 12. It goes in 4 times. That gave me 12. So when I take 12 away from the top, I have 2 left over out of the 3. You got that by doing long division. And that is the answer to this one. I wrote all over the screen for that problem. Okay? So let's go ahead. Let me erase this one, and we'll try the next one. Don't forget, if you're doing these and you're like, I don't know what to do, office hours are from 1:30 to 3:30 on the Zoom. 1:30 to 3:30. Last week I was having some issues with my Zoom. It was telling me you guys were in the waiting room, but then when I would go in there, no one was in the waiting room. But I figured it out. So that issue has been figured out. Okay, so here's the next one. You're going to take a second, try it, pause it, come back when you have it. All right. So you have to have a top and a bottom number before you can do this. So 10/1 was pretty easy. This one, I have to make it mad. So I'm going to multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. Add 1, you're going to get 9. So I have 9/4. And I had 10/1. Now this was still division. I haven't done any math yet except for just rewrite them using tops and bottoms, numerators and denominators. Now I'm going to keep, change, flip. So I'm going to do my work over here. So I'm going to have 10/1. I kept that one. I change it to multiplication, and I flip it to its reciprocal. So 4/9. Once you have that multiplication symbol, then I can go straight across. 10 times 4 is 40. 1 times 9 is 9. Now, same thing, this is improper. I have to think, how many times can 9 go into 40? Well, count. 9, 18, 27, 36. It can go in 4 times. When it goes in 4 times, that got me to 36. So I still have 4 left over out of 9. Okay, and what I just did is I mentally did long division. 40 divided by 9. 9 goes into 40 4 times. 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, that was my whole number. My remainder is 4. That went on the top, and then I kept my denominator. So you should got 4 and 4/9. Okay, we have 2 more to do. I want you to go ahead and pause and work out both of them, and then we'll come back and we'll work out both of them. So pause and work out the two bottom ones, and then we'll come back and work out the two bottom ones. All right, ready? Here we go. So this one and this one, they both have improper fractions. So you got to make them both mad first. So from the bottom up, multiply. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. 13 over 3. Multiply, then add. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13 over 4. Okay, and I haven't actually done any math yet. So now I can do keep. So I'm going to keep 13 over 3. Change it to multiply. Flip. I'm going to flip this to 4 over 13. And this is when you should get really excited because you have matching numbers diagonally. When you have that, you get to mark them out. So on the top, I'm just going to have a 4. On the bottom, I'm just going to have a 3. It's improper, but 3 goes into 4 one time with 1 out of 3 pieces left over. Remember, you get that from long division. Let's see if the next one's that easy. So bottoms up. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 is going to be 11. So I have 11 over 8 divided by, oh, this is going to be a big one. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 1 is 33 over 8. Okay, so we are going to keep, change, flip now. So I'm going to keep the first fraction, which was 11 over 8. I'm going to change this to multiplication. I'm going to flip the last one to its reciprocal. And then I get really happy again because what do you notice? You notice that the 8s match. So I'm left with 11 over 33. And if you notice, 11 goes into both of those. So I can simplify by 11, and I'm going to get 1/3 as my answer. 1/3 as my answer. Okay? So that is what we did in class. And in class, we actually didn't get to do all those examples because we didn't have time to do them all. So you got even more practice. And then what we did was we went to our homework. So remember, your homework is going to be in Savas Realize. So you would go to your waffle. You would scroll down, down, down to find Easy Bridge, which is next to the Gopher Buddy. You have to make sure you're logged into your school account. Most of you guys only have one button on the next screen to push, but it's under Realize, Savas Realize. And some of your all screens look a little bit different than mine, but you would have to start your assignment. And on my screen, it's in classes. Some of you guys, it's like start assignment. And when you go to your classes, it'll show you everything you haven't got done yet. Okay, so we have a new one, dividing fractions. It's due Friday the 25th. You might have some in progress that you need to finish. Now, don't forget about Canvas. Canvas is where we put all of the modules. It also has extra resources. So if you are stuck, if you're confused, if you aren't sure how to simplify a fraction or go from an improper to a mixed number and all of that stuff, the answers will be in Canvas. Make sure in Canvas you go to your math course, whichever one's your math class. Make sure you're in modules. Everything's in modules. And this is this week. Okay, today's lesson was dividing fractions, but down here you have dividing fractions in visuals. In videos, there's extra help there. And don't forget, we have a test next week, so I've given you extra test practice too. All right, that's all you need to know. Bye, guys.